All right, y'all. So part of having this melanoma, the remnants of it, I'm currently about 4 to almost 5 weeks out of treatments. I've been having a lot of, mental stuff as I'm not sleeping right, but so part of it though, the mental health is trying to get out and do a little something. So I've got my walking partners up and we're going to try to do a mile. I've tried to get out every couple days, so by doing this daily, this little vlog style to kind of talk about what it's like living after cancer, because it is melanoma month currently. And well, I was reminiscing about my radiation. So after we found the ping pong ball sized tumor in my brain, I had to do 3 bouts of radiation, which basically I had to wear a mask, which I'll put a picture up right here. And with that mask, they had to get that specifically made for my head, and that allowed the radiation to hit within millimeters of the size of the actual tumor, and basically fried the tumor. And then the brain surgeon went in right after that the day after the third treatment, and scalpeled my head, cut into it, and cut into my head, cut a section of my skull out to get to it, and then basically scraped out the burnt reminiscences of it, and put a metal plate in my head to cover that soft spot, and sewed me back up. So what's been the hard part of this? And then after so many weeks, I think it was like 6 or 8 weeks, then we went into immunotherapy treatments. And so what's been the hard part with post-treatment? My doctors kept telling me that, hey, you've had 3 traumatic, basically brain traumas. You had the actual tumor, the radiation, and then the surgery. So you're healing from 3 traumatic injuries at once. So cognitively, I get stuck on words. I forget what I'm saying. If I'm any type of stressed, or dare I say emotional, anything like that, then I lose my train of thought really quick. Driving is limited to just cross town during the day. When it's raining, it's kind of rough. Nighttime driving is it's okay as long as the headlights aren't on, because other cars' headlights mess with me to where I kind of close my eyes. So if it's really trafficky, then if that's a word, if it's really trafficky, then I have trouble with that. The orange barrels at night from road construction, yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. But there's days where I just, like the other day, I got up and I thank the Lord, like I do every morning, for the opportunity to come down and be a part of this day. To wake up on this side of the grass. And halfway through my first cup of coffee, I was like, screw this, man. I'm just done. And the rest of my day was in a bad mood, just a bad mood. And I pulled out the machete and I started working on this tree line with all this kudzu, and started trimming down stuff and just trying to release some energy doing it. What was the word I used the other night? It was productive, destructive, productive. And then as my arms were tired, I said, you know what? I moved the bicycle and I said, I'm going to ride that. I got on the bicycle and I rode a mile on a bike. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Well, that's the first mile I've ridden on a bicycle in probably 25 years. And I've had the bicycle for 12. So, yeah. And let me tell you, when I got off that bicycle, my legs were jello. I about fell. Because I didn't realize the inclines and declines as minor as they are when you're walking. But when you're on a bicycle, you notice them. So anyway, that was that. And, you know, partners, they're really wanting to get out and move. So they've been a little blessing. They get to where they're anxious and they're just ready to get out and walk, and we'll go do it. And we have to pick times where it's not, you know, at the hottest. And because Rex, the lab, he absorbs heat like crazy. So we have to kind of pick different times of the day for him. Today it's supposed to get up to like 81. It's noon right now, and but it's not that hot yet, and it's really overcast, so I have to don the hat, and I've got my sun shirt on so I don't get sunburnt, you know, because little exposures can do it. I mean, it is possible to get sunburn in a 15-minute walk, 20-minute walk. So, but that's where we're at right now. I encourage everybody to get checked. You know, melanoma is not just your moles or a skin cancer. You know, mine, we don't know where the point of origin was. We just know that December of 2020, I had an inflamed lymph node under my arm. You know, we'll get more into that story later on, but that's where it started. And then by July of 2021, it metastasized, which means it moved, and it traveled and settled in my brain, and that's where the party started. Well, that's where the party moved to. So we had two ragers going on, and so since treatments, everything's good. My last scans were NED, no evidence of disease. We got more scans coming up in the end of June. So a lot of what I'm trying to do right now is I've got a goal set and in mind that I have to work some endurance up to, daily endurance, to where I'm not laid out for 3 days after doing it. So after doing this adventure. So anyway, more on that later. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. The corner, there used to be a big branch that came off there. It was about yay big around. I cut it with a machete, and it came all the way out to about here, and it hung down over the sidewalk. And then there was dead kudzu vines left from last year all the way over to here, and I went up as high as I could reach up into here, pulling it down and yanking on it, and you know, kind of cleaned some of this up down here a little bit, and most of that's just stuff I already cut. But yeah, that was a chore. I mean, you can kind of see this big branch right there. Cleaned all this out. There's a pile this pile here came from all this hanging down right here. If you're in the south, you know kudzu. It's terrible. So then, after I did all that, I went around and I picked up all the pine cones out of the front yard, and which is an ongoing project because I have pine trees right there, and you know, the kudzu's all wrapped around. So after that, I was like, screw this, and I got on the bicycle, you know, like I said, and anyway, the rest of that day was kind of like a, but I was wore out. I was productively destructive is what I call it. And the next day I woke up, the sun was shining, the bird was chirping like every day. I thank the Lord for another beautiful day to be a part of it, and my mood was completely different. It was absolutely amazing. I had what was probably the best day in weeks, and you got to do that. So I'm going to end this one right here just with a hey, you guys are awesome. I want to share my story a little bit, and you know, maybe help somebody else realize that their situation could be worse. My bout with this cancer could have been 1,000 times worse, and it wasn't. And more as the days go on, that I'm realizing that my journey wasn't as bad, so maybe I need to share it. And that's what I plan on doing, is just kind of sharing a bit about this. It's not just surgery and done. I mean, this thing changes your life. And if you've been following along, you know, on my Sunday lives, you know that. You've seen me go through it, and it's changed my life in every aspect. I mean, when this first happened, we first got diagnosed, they said cancer touches everything. Well, dude, I didn't know that it hula hooped its way through everything. I mean, there's not been one aspect, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, insurance. Don't get me started on that. I mean, it touches everything. The way you eat food, the way you look at stuff, your old habits, the things you used to take joy in, are now like we'll do that. You know, maybe we'll do that. Your perspective changes. The little things like, you know, going with the kids to get iced coffee. I used to say, no, I don't want to drink iced coffee. I'm not going to do it. Now I'll ride with them. You know, because it's those little things, the little things that matter. And that's what they're going to take away from this. And, you know, whatever you guys take away from it, I hope it's positive. And, hey, Black Ribbon Warriors, unite. We're out there. Actually, any ribbon warrior. Yeah. But, so I'm going to end this, and we'll pick up and share more later. Have a great week, everybody.